Hey, welcome back. We're watching part 12 in the BOSH tutorial series. My name is Chris and today I want to talk about deployment variables. And we won't be using the Nginx deployment we've been using so far. We'll be deploying a new product. We'll be deploying Concourse. If you don't know what Concourse is, let me take you to the Concourse website. And the website will tell you Concourse is an open source continuous thing doer. Awesome, right? Other people would call it a pipeline or CI/CD tool. I won't go any further in that today. I'll keep that for the next video. What we'll be doing is deploying Concourse. I'll explain variables, and then in the next video we'll be actually using Concourse to do BOSH updates, stem cell updates, those kind of things. So let's find the Concourse BOSH release on bosh.io. bosh.io. We'll head over to releases, and I'll find the Concourse release. Concourse, there we go. There it is. Alright, so what I'm really interested in is the source code of the Concourse release to see if there's any example manifest with that. So let's open the GitHub page for Concourse BOSH release. Scroll down a bit and there we see it, manifest. And there's one file, one example deployment manifest for Concourse. It's called singlevm.yaml. And right away when we open this, you'll see something we haven't seen before when we use the Nginx deployment. There are these names between double parentheses, and all these names are actually variables. So there's two different ways to specify those variables when we deploy this deployment manifest. The first one is using -v on the command line, and we have seen that when we deployed the BOSH directory itself. We had a whole list of -v and then a name and a value, -v, name and value, etc. So we can do that for this deployment as well. But there is another way to do it, which I will show you in this video. So first of all, I already prepared another deployment manifest. I used the example here, and then I made a few tweaks. So let me take you to the file and I'll show that. And you can find this on my GitHub repo, which I will link in down below. So first change I made is that I just copy-pasted all the release URLs and SHA hashes from the bosh.io website for all the releases that are included in this deployment. So by doing this, I don't have to manually download all the releases. When I deploy this manifest, all releases will just be downloaded for me. So just because I'm lazy, it's a lot easier. So there's that. Then I also replaced the name of the availability zone with another variable. So instead of just putting all the availability zones in this array, I put a variable there. So now we can choose our own availability zone without having to change the deployment manifest, which is pretty nice. Okay, then there are the variables that are already in the example manifest, the network name, VM type, and then we also see Postgres password. And there's an admin password, and actually these two lines were added by me because I don't care about all the other types of authentication for this demo. I just want to use the basic authentication. And there's a token signing key, and there's a few other variables as well. So there's something special with all these variables. If you scroll down, we'll find a section in the manifest called variables. And all the variables listed here, so as you can see, we have the Postgres password, and that's of type password. Now, because I specify the type, what happens when we deploy this and we don't specify the Postgres password? BOSH is aware that it needs to be a password, so it will just auto-generate a password for you. Same for this signing key. This is an RSA key. BOSH will just generate the RSA key for you. So you don't have to specify your own RSA key. Same for these SSH keys and this password. So by specifying the variables in the variables section of your deployment manifest, you basically tell BOSH it can auto-generate these variables and what type of variable it needs to generate. So this can save you a lot of time. Now there's two ways to store these variables. So basically when you do a deployment, you can specify a file on the command line where it will store the auto-generated values, or you can use something called CredHub. We haven't seen CredHub yet. It's not included in the BOSH directory we have deployed in this video series. So if you want to know more about CredHub, please leave a comment. I might do a video on this. I'll just leave it for now. I'll just tell you that it's a credential store. So instead of storing credentials on a file system and then checking them into your Git repository, CredHub will store the variables and all the credentials in a server, and that's all encrypted and very secure. So for production situation, using CredHub is a lot better than storing your all your credentials in files. All right. So how are we going to pass all those other variables? So like the network and the VM type. So let's scroll up again. So we have the deployment name, we have the AZ, the VM type. We need to pass these in on the command line because it cannot auto-generate it, right? We need to tell BOSH what the AZ is, what the network name is, etc. So what we can do is create a variables YAML file and then pass that into the deployment on the command line. So I already created that. It's called vars.yaml. And there are all your variables. The deployment name is Concourse, the AZ is AZ1, VM type, we use default in this case. WebAP can actually be removed because I removed that from the manifest. And we have a network name, it's my labnet. So I'll save this. And then we'll do a deployment. So let's move over to the command line and run BOSH for the tutorial environment. We'll be acting on the Concourse deployment because that's what we are going to call it. Then we want to deploy it. We want to use the file concourse.yaml. And we are loading variables from vars.yaml. So vars-file, and then I can specify where the file is that stores all the variables that will be loaded during this deployment. Then there's also the credentials that are auto-generated, which I just talked about. So I need to specify a file where those will be stored. So that's vars-store. And we'll store it in creds.yaml. And now it's deploying. And since we specified all the links and SHA hashes in the deployment manifest, it will go ahead and download all the releases for us, put them on the director. So this will take a while. After that, it will compile a lot of packages and then do the actual deployment. So I'll speed this up for you in the video because it will take quite a while. All right, downloading of all the releases done. They're on the director now. So the director asked me if I want to do the actual deployment. So yes, of course I do. Let's go ahead and do that. And it will compile a load of packages. So taking a long time. Let me cut the video here for you. All right, so it was a whole lot of packages. I think almost took about 10 minutes on my machine. But that's just my home lab with only 3 compile workers. So it could be done a lot faster if you have more compile workers and a faster machine. Right now it created the missing VM, so the single VM that will run the whole Concourse deployment. And it's now updating that VM with all the software. So it's actually deploying all the software right now. Right, deployment is done. Let's see what BOSH created for us. First of all, let's check the files that are currently in this folder. So we see the Concourse.yaml. So let me actually put it on the top of the screen. Concourse.yaml, creds.yaml, and vars.yaml. So vars.yaml and Concourse.yaml were created by me. See them in this editor. And then BOSH created the creds.yaml. So let's take a quick look what's in there. Creds.yaml, and there it is. You see auto-generated admin password, Postgres password, and then RSA key pairs. So it's pretty cool, right? No need to play around with OpenSSH and all that stuff. BOSH just generates it for you. Very nice. All right, let's check out the BOSH deployment, see what machine is deployed. Show the VMs, and here's the IP address. I'll copy that into my browser. Let's open a new tab. And we have to go to port 8080 for Concourse. There it is, running Concourse deployment. So if I now want to log in, we need that admin password that's in the creds.yaml file. So I'll log in, choose the only team there is. Then use the admin and reopen the creds.yaml and we'll copy this admin password. Paste it in and we're logged in. There's no pipelines configured, of course. There's nothing there yet, but I can log in. So this shows that the auto generation of password works and that they're actually part of the deployment. So I think this is a pretty cool feature because it prevents you from ever using another default password. It's all a new auto-generated password. And even certificates and all that kind of stuff are generated for you. So it saves you a lot of time usually. So there's one more thing to do now, and that is checking everything into git add dot, git commit, and we'll call it first Concourse deployment as a commit comment. And then we'll run the git push. There we go. So now you should be able to find it on our BOSH Rocks Git repo. I'll link it in down below. I'll also link the actual variables documentation from the BOSH.io website. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to answer it as quickly as possible. That's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, again, please leave a comment or feel free to find me on Twitter. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!